This is an episode about how to navigate friendships after your life has changed after having a child, but your friends' lives have not. This is New Mom on the Block. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Let's do this. Hello, welcome to New Mom on the Block. I'm Lindsay Legister, and this is a channel where I get to share some of my very honest, in real time experiences as a new mom. By the way, I feel like we're all kind of new moms no matter what age our children are because we're always experiencing new. And I also get to talk about topics that you all have wrote into me about, commented about. And so here we are. It is the thick of winter here in New York. I have a cold. There might be a booger or two that fly out of my nose. I'm not sure. Just look the other way. While we're chatting today about how to navigate friendships after having a child when your friends' lives haven't changed, but your life really has, I'm gonna be making one of my mom meals. This is not a video about a mom meal, so I will be totally focused on it, but I'm hungry and we're multitasking today, which I'm sure a lot of you do. So let's get to it. Okay, so this experience of your life completely changing in so many ways after you have a child. Literally, biologically, you are changed. Your brain has changed, your body has changed. I don't know what this is gonna represent, your body has totally changed. Your priorities have changed. And when your friends who have not had children yet, or maybe they're not going to have children, and when your friends and those friends who don't have children yet, or maybe they're not gonna have children, lives kind of remain the same, similar to maybe what yours was prior to baby, it can create a bit of dissonance and distance and confusion and frustration and loss of connection at times. And so what I want to say first and foremost is that this is normal. This is a completely normal aspect to being in a relationship. This might be happening with your friendships. This might be happening with your family, with your sister, with your brother. So apply this to whatever relationship you feel has kind of changed and is a little funky after you've had children. Personally, my belief is that if everything remained the same after you've had a child, something might be off. It is supposed to change your life. And I think for the better. It doesn't always feel like that because things can be so challenging and really push you to their limit. But y'all, it is supposed to be working on you. So when it reaches your relationships now are being called to become a bit more clear, communicative, and deeper. So I just wanted to acknowledge that this shift is completely normal, and your feelings about it and the feelings of your friends about your shift are completely normal. I want to validate that because you might be feeling kind of lonely, feeling like, wow, my life has changed completely. Everyone else's lives has just gone on and continued, and here I am in the thick of motherhood and it's crazy. And so all of those feelings are valid and real. And those of your friends who might feel like they're not as connected to you, like you have other priorities, like they're abandoned or left out. And those are valid too. Both of you are navigating some uncharted territory within your relationship. So rather than thinking like, oh shit, like I'm losing a friend, maybe we can reframe this and think of it as an opportunity to deepen our friendship and become more honest and clear about where we're at now. And that doesn't mean that you'll be seeing each other all the time and you'll try to maintain what it was. It's about meeting each other in this new season. And that might mean there's not as many touch points. That might mean you take a little break, and that's okay too. So just validating everyone's experience in this experience, right? Okay, I'm just updating you where I'm at on this. I have some whole rye bread. It's like a thin piece of rye bread, some avocado, and then I really like this Kite Hill queso. She's digging it. And then I'm gonna put some turkey on top. Some oven roasted turkey from a plastic bag. It's organic though. Oh. Okay, I wanna share briefly some of my experience thus far with my friendships changing. with myself changing, with my everyday really changing, what it's looked like. My priorities have completely shifted. My priority is my family, my son and my husband, and our home and our experience within the home, and yeah, just nurturing that. That is my priority. That's been my choice. And so therefore, some of my relationships have taken a backseat. And what that looks like, we might not be calling each other every week and having 2-hour conversations on the phone. I might be really late, delayed in answering texts. I might need a 5 p.m. dinner instead of a 7:30 p.m. dinner, right? I might be inviting people over here to spend time rather than going out because I don't want to leave my child. Things like that. And, some friends have totally understood and been incredibly supportive, and others have had a harder time. Both I'm totally down with. I totally understand. So what I've had to do is treat each friendship differently and very specifically and kind of tune in to what's coming up. And how you really tune in is having an open, honest conversation, baby. So in some of my friendships, I just have to be really honest, where it's like, listen, since having a child, I have felt different. Every part of me has felt different, physically, mentally, emotionally, neurologically. My priorities are different. And so I just want to acknowledge that. And perhaps your experience of me has felt different. And I want to acknowledge that, I haven't been as communicative, and I haven't been initiating us spending time together. And for that, I apologize, because I know that it must feel a little funky, but I just wanted to lay it out there, kind of where I'm at and where my priorities are, and just know that I love you and I care for you. And I know this is just a season of my life, but I would love to find kind of a middle ground where maybe we see each other and spend a solid time together, really quality time together once a quarter. I know it sounds crazy. You're like 4 times a year, but when it is quality time and you are super present, it matters. It matters, and it'll fill you both up for a long time, I believe. So I think that's really important, is to openly communicate about where you're at and invite them to share where they're at. How are they feeling? What is this bringing up within them? What has been their experience? What has worked and what feels like it's not working, right? So we got to be really, really honest. I think I'm going to make this a sandwich. Oh, there we go. Mom meal. Okay. Also, what I've tried to do within those friendships that I had these conversations where we're just updating each other on what's true right now, where we're at, what we have capacity for, is finding some common ground outside of children. I know, for me, honestly, sometimes it's hard to relate to my friends who don't have kids right now. They have the freedom to go and do anything at any time and do whatever, and not think of another human being. I am so happy that I get to think of another human being, but it's just different, right? And so can we find some common ground now in kind of our new lives, where around that common ground we can create experiences or have conversations? Because I really think having those touch points where you can both relate and kind of key on that is really important. So, maybe there's this dope new movie out that you both will love. Why don't you go see the movie together, or have a little dinner? Maybe it's an early dinner so you can, get back for bedtime, whatever, and go see the movie. Different things like that. Maybe, you both are workout fanatics and there's a new workout in town. Go to the workout class. Take that time, kind of get out of the mommy mode for a moment. I am someone who loves to be in mommy mode. But anytime I kind of push myself out of it and I am hanging out with my friends who don't have kids, and we engage in some sort of activity or something or conversation that doesn't involve kids, it is nice, But I have to say that my time spent with my mom friends, where we can talk about what's happening in our mom lives, where we can do activities with our kids, is also incredibly fulfilling for me in this season of my life. Tune into what is true for you. You might be like, I need non-mom experiences. Great. Seek those out and incorporate that into your relationships. For me, I need both. I think right now I'm heavy on the mom experiences and meeting new mom friends, which we'll talk about in a moment. But I really want you to create experiences that you are desiring, especially as our kids get a little bit older. And yes, they're dependent on us, but where they have slightly more independence, or maybe you've incorporated some support, whether it's a babysitter, nanny, dad, mom, partner, grandma, siblings are coming to help you, like take advantage of that time. I know it's hard, but take advantage. I also think in these conversations with your existing friends whose lives haven't really changed after you've had the baby, except between you both, is that, it's important that we just acknowledge that things have changed. And I think accepting change is really hard within a friendship. Really, really hard. Your friends, especially ones that you've known for a long time, have gotten to know you as a certain person, with certain priorities, who likes to do certain things, who does this, they've adapted to that version of you. And to be a new version can be really dysregulating and kind of weird. I've experienced this of other friends who have gone through major changes, and I've had to kind of check in with myself, like, am I okay with this? Like, what do I need to do to kind of like meet them where they are? So I think having, in that conversation, it's important to be like, we've changed. I've changed. My life has changed. You're going to go through seasons where your life has changed. Like, let's celebrate it. Let's just accept it. Let's talk about it, make sure we are like supporting each other through it, but let's not fight it, right? Like I think fighting it is just, it just creates so much resistance, so much blockage in the experience. So let's accept the change. I need another bite. Protein, fat, fiber, no real greens. Like avocado's green, but it's not really green. But this is, and I'm having a spin drift. Your girl loves sparkle. I'm sorry. Okay. I want to talk about bringing more peace to these relationships because I just want to acknowledge, yes, it can get heated. It can get just funky. Anyone experiencing that right now? Funky. We must make a practice to be empathetic. I find this hard sometimes. You might be surprised. You're like, she's nice. She's empathetic. I am. And I had to kind of work with this feeling of like, wow, people with kids really don't understand. And that's not meant to sound insensitive, but it's just true for me, where like you don't know until you've experienced it and you're in it. And so I can't really over explain or communicate like how difficult it is sometimes to, make work a priority over my kid or be away from him for a few days for a work thing, or how painful sometimes it is to miss bedtime when he may be going through teething and whatnot, like, miss bedtime to go out with a friend. And I don't expect people who don't have kids to understand. So I have to be realistic about that. And I also have to empathize with that other person that they're having a new experience too. So bringing that to the table, I try to lead with that. And then, I think it's really important that we let go of the guilt. I am someone who can be hard on myself about like, you're not trying enough, you're not prioritizing your friends, like just beating myself up about how I'm handling this. And I gotta let go of it. Like it is just too heavy. I'm gonna try my absolute best. I know my heart. I hope my friends know my heart. But my best right now might not be their best. What they expect of me is my best. Does that make sense? And I have to be okay with that. I have to drop the guilt of feeling like a bad friend or like a bad mom or whatever the story is. So drop the guilt. It plays no important part in this, evolution of your friendships. And then I would also just really encourage you to set boundaries. I know it's a word that kind of triggers people. They're like, oh, you're setting a boundary? I get it. It's a very buzzy word. It's a lot of like therapy speak out there that can be a lot, but you have to create boundaries. And I think encouraging one another to kind of share the boundaries that you each have. It's like, right now at this point in my life, like I'm not going to a 9 p.m. dinner. It's okay if you don't invite me to those. I would love a 5:30 or 6. At this point in my life, I am not going to travel for more than 2 days. I'm just not ready to leave my son. I think, when you do connect on the phone, you can say like, listen, I want to be so present and have a quality conversation with you, but it's not going to be 2 hours. Let's like commit to a 30-minute catch up every 2 weeks or once a month or whatever you can handle. Boundaries are really important. And I think for the other person to be informed of the boundary, well, they don't always have to be, but if you have that type of relationship where you can share them, each of you, I think it's so nice because then then you can work with that information, right? The more information, the better. The more truth, the better. The more truth on the table. Show me your cards so we could play poker. Okay. Last thing I want to talk about is making new friends, because that's a part of the conversation too. The relationship landscape is changing. And so building new relationships with moms, I think, is incredibly important. At first, I was already exhausted by it. I'm like, no, this is too much to meet new people. But it has healed me. It has warmed my heart. It has made me feel so validated, so resourced, so supported. And you've got to find your people. So outside of New Mom on the Block and connecting with us here and in Mommy Huddles, which I host twice a month, I would love for you to join a Mommy Huddle. They're 1 hour and we just go in. We start with a topic, but then we totally flow, and it's so beautiful, supportive, fun, and just a place where you're going to feel less alone. But you can join your local mom groups, local communities, whether online or in person. And I know that feels like a lot. Like, how do I find them? You will find them. Facebook, WhatsApp, Google it. Ask your other mom friends. People know moms are so powerful within local communities, so powerful because we really take pride in creating an experience for us and our kids that is nourishing and supportive. We are raising the next generation of children. It is a mission. And so you will see some really strong ass mom groups that are just the best. Join them. Go to classes with your kid. You're gonna meet so many new parents. Yes, there are nannies there too, but you're gonna meet a lot of people. Take your kid to classes, music, activities, crafts, arts. Take them to classes. Lastly, I would say put yourself out there. If you are out, say you're at the grocery store, and you see another mom with their kid and you feel energy, you're like, ooh, kind of wanna say hi. Just be like, oh my gosh, how old is your little one? And get to talking. Oh, do you live in the neighborhood? Yeah, I actually do. Oh my God, I am a new mom and I would love to connect. I'm just looking for other moms. If you would be down, would love to take your info, whatever way you feel comfortable. Put yourself out there. The kids are a nice little calling card, especially if you're with one another. But I promise you, this is going to create a really beautiful, full, dynamic landscape of relationships in your new life as a mom. So really tending to checking in with, updating those old relationships. Who knew you then? Who need to get to know you now? Who need to understand your boundaries and your capacity? And you need to understand their experience in this whole thing. How do you find a common ground of how often do we connect? What feels good? What is missing from this? How can we be better? And then also making connections with new moms, creating new relationships, new friendships that really scratch that itch of I need to feel understood. I need to feel validated. I need to ask the questions what are you doing for the boogies at night? When they can't come out, what's happening? You deserve that. You deserve it. And I know, I just want to validate that you might be tired. You might have a lot on your plate. And so tending to and or creating new relationships might feel abso-freaking-lutely not. I have no energy, but trust me, make it a priority for a month to do this. And let me know how you feel. Okay, I am working through this in real time. I am not an expert, but I'm sharing what I'm learning as I go. It is a hard ass thing, y'all, to be in relationships, romantic, friendship, family, professional, and everything in between. It's not easy, but that's the point. These are the vehicles for our growth and transformation. And so we have to take them seriously. Okay. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. New Mom on the Block is a brand that I just started, and we're just slowly growing the YouTube. I appreciate you subscribing, rating, review. Can you do that on YouTube? You can give me comments. I answer all of my comments. I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear about this experience, where you're at, and please join a Mommy Huddle this month. The link is below. You can find out what dates, times, etc. I appreciate you. You're doing so great. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.